This week in Vienna, what we've seen is a follow-up set of negotiations between the P5+1 powers and the Islamic Republic of Iran, trying to ascertain pathways forward for the implementation of a final status agreement on Iran's nuclear enrichment program. It's been generally a positive set of negotiations. Not much information has come out into the public domain about the exact scope and nature of what was discussed, but what we do know is that a framework for priority of issues was established and that further discussions will take place on March 17th. So at this point in time, whilst we haven't come to any definite conclusions as to how a final status agreement might look, we have got a pathway forward, and I think ultimately this is positive and it will serve to build confidence in future rounds of negotiations. What is interesting to note about some immediate reactions to the discussions which have taken place in Vienna is that, in line with the research that RUSI has conducted, both the Israelis and the Saudis are particularly disappointed with the progress of the negotiations as they currently stand. I think both countries are extremely concerned that we have not done enough to address in the Western world Iran's ability to enrich domestically, which leaves them open to a pathway which could lead to a nuclear weapon. On the other hand, we have some states in the West who believe that this particular period where Iran is decreasing its stockpiles of 20% enriched uranium as a positive step forward, leading to an interim and then a final status agreement. However, there is this tension, and our research has highlighted that in the previous year. Broadly speaking, this agreement is simply a holding pattern in terms of Iranian domestic policy, because there is no immediate additional lifting of sanctions. What we've seen from Iran is an extra 100,000 barrels of oil coming onto the market, which has been beneficial for them economically, and some light relief of sanctions around precious metals and some of their pre-existing hydrocarbon stocks. But I think Rouhani is going to have to deliver more in the coming month or two in order to placate some of the hardliners, particularly the Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, who is very skeptical as to whether this track on negotiations will succeed or not, and seems to be extremely distrustful of the West. However, I think what's happened at Vienna is a confidence-building measure. I think the frameworks which have been put in place, prioritizing issues for discussion on March 17th, allow us to feel slightly confident, at least, that we can move forward and we can begin to solve this problem in the next 6 months.